Hello, everybody. It is Wednesday morning. I believe it is the 9th of October. This is the date that Hurricane Milton is supposed to devastate a large portion of Florida. If you've not watched any previous videos, ironically, I am located in the Panhandle, a town called Milton. So, I'm going to tell you some of the things that are about to occur in Southwest Florida and all the way up to the Big Bend region, probably as far as down as the Everglades. And it's not going to be pretty. As we all know and assume and expect, there's going to be a tremendous amount of loss of life. And as time goes on, the federal government are going to keep those numbers very low. And there are so many undocumented people, whether they're homeless, with no family, haven't had any contact with anybody for a very long time, or just whatever, they've fallen through the cracks. But I can promise you, if the federal government comes out and tells you there's 500 deaths, you can times that probably by 4 or 5. That's the sad reality. And during these times of natural disaster like this, you always hear stories from people on the search and rescue. Most of it's going to be recovery missions, teams. They will tell you the broadcast because they, if they're part of an organized search and rescue team, they're going to have communication, like two-way radios and such. And you always hear about how many body bags are being requested. And when they tell you how many body bags are being requested, and then you hear the government's statistic, it's very sad, very sad. I realize technically, if you do not recover a body, it's considered a missing person. So I'm sorry if I look distracted. It's because I'm getting some messages. So I apologize for that. But if there are missing people, they're not considered deceased. A lot of times the government assumes that people just evacuated, but they don't have everybody's name who was in a certain area. What else is going to go on? People are going to lose phone communications. They're going to lose power for a very long time. During Ian, for me, it was 11 days. A lot of areas were affected worse than where I was located in, excuse me, South Fort Myers. They're going to lose all their documents, like birth certificate and stuff like that. Fema, this is the honest to God's truth. During Hurricane Irma, it took 2 months to get food assistance from the federal government. 2 months. Can you imagine? 2 months. You have no place to live. You're not gaining income. And you're just trying to get economic assistance just to feed yourself after 2 months. How many people perished during that 2 months? And they're not going to list that as a hurricane casualty. No, it's just going to be natural causes, malnutrition or whatever. There's so many little ways the government can hide the statistics. And here's another thing I'm going to tell you. I don't know all the payout levels, but I do know this to be true. If it's a Category 5 in the Gulf, I think, don't quote me on this, I think a Category 5 starts at 157 miles per hour, but when it makes landfall, if it's at 156, there's a different level of payout for FEMA. So it's always interesting how many times the government tries to say it was a Category 4 when it was clearly a Category 5. So people will not be able to go to the FEMA website to apply for their whopping $750. Most of those people will not get $750. I've already heard stories of people who lost everything and they were given $300. Here, go live on this. Unbelievable. It's crazy. They won't have a lot of people like myself did legally work for and have a residence, but it was weekly and there was no lease. If there is no lease, the federal government is not going to do a damn thing for you. So during Hurricane Ian, I did go to a local shelter. I did not sleep at the shelter for many reasons, because I had my van was still intact. I had living quarters in this van, but I did go there for food assistance, try and communicate with the FEMA, Red Cross, all those agencies. So people are in there in tears, devastated, lost everything. One of the questions they asked me, this is true story, I'm not making this up, and I'm sitting here praying. And I was assuming I was going to get some type of financial assistance. Guess what? One of the questions they asked me was, do you identify as a male or a female? True story. True story. I'm trying to stay alive. You're going to ask me that kind of bullshit question? It has nothing to do with this natural disaster. Nothing. Nothing whatsoever. My mother is in the direct path, dying at an assisted living facility. I am not allowed to have any contact with her. Part of the facility's, because I'm not the power of attorney, which that's a whole nother story. That is stupid, unnecessary, ego-driven. I'm trying. My mom won't answer her phone. It goes directly to voicemail. So it tells me someone probably confiscated the phone. You can only assume who. Either the staff or the power of attorney. But all they would tell me, I was trying to find out if she's still a resident there. They said yes. I asked if she's still alive. They said yes. I asked if she's going to be evacuated. They told me they couldn't tell me any more about the situation. So, I know there's a whole lot I'm missing on what's going to occur. Most of that region is pretty much flat. So there's going to be areas, they're saying 10 to 15 feet, possibly 20-foot water surge. a lot of people don't remember, who are not used to living in coastal water areas, there's this thing called high and low tide. You're going to have not only the surge from the force of the storm, you're going to have a high tide, and then you're going to have all that rain accumulation. So everything I'm hearing, they're expecting this to be the worst storm ever. So, and the sad thing is, people are going to be seriously maimed, injured, paralyzed, lose limbs, their personal limbs. I'm not talking tree limbs. And they're going to have a tough road ahead. They're going to die later. It's just going to be god awful. Some people will never rebound. Eventually, some people will rebound physically. Financially, it's going to be a train wreck. Been there, done that. 2 5s, 2 Cat 5s. And I'm not in a financial position where I can do anything, unfortunately. So it still blows my mind that I had to relocate from Southwest Florida, picked a town called Milton, and now Milton is going to Southwest Florida. That just blows my mind. Blows my mind. But it's crazy. It is so crazy. One thing I do want to share. This was a really good tip. I'm trying to remember if it was Facebook or YouTube. But what they suggest you do, you're going to need, if you're going to lose your vehicle and you're going to lose power, you're not really going to have any way to charge your phone if your phone survives. If you can get one of those waterproof cases that are used for like nautical purposes, and fishermen use those when they go offshore, that's a really good idea. It costs you, depends on what quality and level, but it could be anywhere from $8 to $30 or $40, depending on what size you get. That's a really good investment, just to help keep you in communication. But what I'm trying to tell you in a long roundabout way is change your voicemail message to whatever your name is. This is, I am currently hunkered down at 123 Main Street, whatever. Give all your details. I cannot evacuate. I'm here. I'm 0.5 miles from the main intersection, or this, that, and the other thing. You got to give as much information as possible on that voicemail message. So when people are trying to reach you, which many people will, you're going to have friends, family, what have you. Search and rescue crews need to know who to check on first. They have to make tough decisions. Can't go there. Anybody who was in there, they're probably deceased. They literally have to make life and death decisions. But you can increase your odds, your chances, just by leaving a voicemail message telling them where you are. I'm headed to the Publix on Delaware Avenue, or whatever, I'm trying to get here. This is what I'll be wearing. But a lot of voicemail messages, you can't leave a real long message, so keep it short and simple. Tell them, okay, it's 10 p.m. I'm at 123 Main Street in Sarasota, Florida. Zip code such, such, such. I'm the 4th house on the right coming from here. Please send help. I need it. So that's my closing statement for everybody. Hopefully a little bit of this helps. A lot of it's going to be a sad reality of what can occur. Hopefully everybody And keep in mind, you're not going to be able to get fuel for a very long time. A very long time. I could go on very long, but I think I hit most of the key points. I probably, as soon as I'm done recording, will remember a couple things here and there. But the voicemail message portion is very important to your survival. So search and rescue can find you while you're still alive, and it doesn't turn into a recovery mission. So try and stay safe, everybody. We're all hoping for the best. Let's hope it's minimized. Good luck, folks.